Namaste, peace, love, and light to everyone out there in YouTube land, to my subscribers and my viewers. Thank you for watching. Please remember to subscribe if you have not yet subscribed. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video and ring the bell so that you can be notified of when I release my next video. I'm just clearing the space right now. Got my stage going. This video is one of the videos I mentioned that in my introduction video that we will be having. This is an interview with Nick Nair. He wrote a miniature piece of the experience he had when his father passed away and when his mother passed away. His experience and his family's experience. I thought this was very compelling and wanted to bring it to light because many people are afraid of death, don't know what to expect or how to carry on with their life after their loved one has passed away. And it's good that we all share our experience. Everyone will have their own unique experience. A little prayer before we begin. I give thanks to the Creator. I give thanks to the sun, the moon, and the stars. I give thanks for Nick and his energy shown up. And we welcome my spirit guides, my ancestors, my guardian and guiding angels, as we welcome Nick's ancestors, his spirit guides, his guiding and his guardian angels. And we welcome the presence of the ancestors, Nick's ancestors, the energy of his father and his mother, to support and to confirm, as we know that this is their will for us to share this. Welcome to Mystic Waters. Nick.
Hi, Marlene.
Welcome, Nick. Thank you so much for taking the time out. I know that right now you are in some pain, as you mentioned earlier.
Absolutely, yes. But it's okay. It's okay.
So appreciate you for coming on. You hurt your spine, and yet you're here. You are a true soldier, spiritual warrior. I fully know what that's like to carry on when you're in pain. And it makes us be even that more grateful. And it makes us really step out of ourselves, step out of this humanness, and really go deep within to connect to the spirit within us and draw strength from there. Nick, you wrote a piece. I believe it started when your father passed away, because this includes 6 years later, I believe, when your mom passed away. And I really love it and wanted to bring this to the people. I have been an educator, a spiritual educator, teacher, and healer all my life. And as I was reading this, I felt this energy came over me, a different persona to do interviews. Actually, I felt, as I told you before, I felt that Oprah spirit came over me. So here you are now. I was deliberating on this for a long time, trying to discover in my own self in this about this perfectionist spirit too that I carry, that I never wanted to own up to, but recently had to, as the spirit was trying to push me into this light, and I decided just go for it. Trying to fix everything around me, trying to get everything in place, a proper mic and so forth, and I don't have a proper mic. My voice has been giving me issues. I'm sucking on a lozenge right now and sipping some dandelion tea to help me through this. Without further ado, though, let's go on. This piece is called In the Face of Death, written by Nair, with thoughts and feelings from the heart. I'm going to read the very first piece. It says, the final breath, the last heartbeat, fighting for life and trying to hold on, or blissfully letting go. How do we perceive death? Have we prepared ourselves for it? What is there after death? With those three questions, I believe we're going to have about 3 videos, create approximately 3 videos. Now, I love what you said. Trying to hold on or blissfully letting go. That right there says to me that you know something about the afterlife. Whether you know it or not, there is something within you that says there's that blissful place. How do we perceive it? Let's start with that. As your father was passing away, he was the first of your parents to pass away. You're February 2004. Is that the date? Is that the time you wrote this? Is that around the time your father passed away in 2004?
My father passed away in 2004, but I wrote this for my mother. And we have a prayer on the 31 days after death, and we normally say something to the people who have attended to honor the person. And so I started writing kind of. It took me a few hours. I was just banging away and to get prepared for the next day for this, for this event, as it were. And there were about maybe 250 people there. And so we needed to share something that is, that will reach them, that they will feel something in their heart, because they've known my mom and dad for a long time. These are all his old friends and their children, and their grandchildren, all these people were there who know us extremely well.
So this was written when your mom was passed.
That's right, yeah. And with memory
recollected and brought in the experience when your father passed away 6 years prior.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, great. You said here that you got a call from the doctor and you rushed to the hospital. The doctor thought that your father was having a massive asthma attack.
That's right.
He's breathing through the night. You said when you got to the hospital, you were saddened about his condition. Explain that.
Yeah, my father was a big man, not in size or anything, but his spirit was huge. And he never ever keeled over in surrender. And there, when I walked into the office, I could see in his eyes that, that he's trying to tell me through his eyes that it's really little time left, that he has basically lost the fight to stay on this world, but he was a very spiritual man. And he taught me a lot of things. And at that time, when he was teaching it to me, I had no time for it, because, all parents get to the stage, they want to impart something on to their children, and the children are not ready for it. So it was like that. But I remember a lot of the things that he said. And now, as time went on, when I have my own children, I've started to remember what he said and started to bring it back. And I find great value in what his words were, all the things he used to say. And all just about living life properly, and how to be one with the universe, how not to break the laws of the universe, how to actually step forward in alignment with what the universe expects of you, and how to find your purpose in life. And I mean, that was probably what he was trying to tell me all the time, that there is a purpose, and you do need to find it and step in line for that. Yeah, that's very interesting, because yeah, carry on.
So you said that when you looked in his eyes, you felt that he was telling you this was it. Now the eyes are the window to the soul.
Yeah.
As they say, right? Through the eyes, you can see very deep and very far and get lots of message. So he didn't have to open his mouth and speak to you. That
No.
includes our connection too. You know, we all have that innate ability and gift to tap into. You said that you knew, like at this point when you look at him, that basically he was saying goodbye. This is it.
Yeah.
How did it make you feel knowing that? How did you feel at that moment? Did you, when you sensed that, did you really tap into that and feel that his physical form at least was going to be gone, that he was gone? Did you really feel that at that moment?
Yes.
And how did you respond, and how did you communicate that to your wife and to your mother and your other siblings?
I mean, let me tell you first a little story that I mentioned in the little thing I wrote, in the little article I wrote about my father naming me. Yeah, he named me Narayanan. Narayanan is the name of the god who actually.
How do you pronounce Narayanan?
Yeah.
Yanan. Okay.
Narayanan. Yeah.
Get into that.
Yeah.
Great.
Nick has come to me years later, but actually it's the name of a god. It's a god that takes you away. It takes your soul away. So he said to me, I've named you Narayanan because just before I die, when I die, I'll call your name. And the devil will think that I called Lord Narayana's name to take me away, and they won't touch me. And he said that. And that memory of that, he told me that when I was 18 years of age. We went to a temple, and coming out of the temple, he told me all these things. And I never forgot that. And he said, I will die at the age of 84. And he said, be ready for it. So all these things were playing in my mind.
So he told you would die at the age of 84.
Yeah.
How old was he actually when he passed?
84. You see, in our Hindu, within the Hinduism, there's all kinds of things going on. In fact, within the culture, there's a thing called, they write your future on a palm leaf, and not your future. They write everybody's future. About 80% of the world's future is written on these palm leaves. And what they do is they take your fingerprint and they take your name, and then they go and search for the right leaf. Then they ask you a question, and then they go back and search. And then they come to your leaf, and they can pinpoint a lot of things about you. They can tell you your past, which you will be shocked to hear. And they will tell you your future. And one of the things they told my dad was that his time of passing will be at the age 84.
Yes.
And so that all these things played in my mind, and at that point, I was so upset that there were so many things that I wanted to sit with him and talk to him. There was so much of forgiveness that I needed from him. There was just so much, and I was feeling a sense of loss even before he passed on. And that I cannot reach him anymore because he had the mask on, the oxygen stuff on, and he was just breathing away. And then the following morning when I went to see him, he was already on a ventilator. His chest was moving up and down. So, I did spend a bit of time with him 4 days before he died. My dad just loved Kentucky Fried Chicken. And we were in town. I said, Dad, you're hungry? He said, yeah. I said, what would you like? And he said Kentucky Fried Chicken, and
he just happened. Dad, actually, I think that was KFC.
And I took him there.
Oh, that KFC killed you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah, and we had a lovely meal and we talked and managed to talk. But I didn't think 4 days later that you won't be around anymore.
mm-hmm.
You know, and there was that. But you know, the most important thing that came out of this is to help people. For me, I will tell people exactly what I need to tell them at the time, and I feel like telling them, and not hold back.
Right. So you said that
Yeah,
you felt this need for forgiveness. So this was
yeah,
after he was on his bed and
yes,
weren't able to really, he wasn't
yeah.
able rather to
He
verbally
wasn't.
communicate with you.
No,
But did you get that opportunity anyway? Because he could
no,
hear you.
no. I got it after he died. I sat and prayed, and I said everything I wanted to say to him, because
So while he
you
was
know,
in bed, you never sat by his bedside and shared.
no, we couldn't go in because it was, you know, it was not in a place where we could get. Only at the last minutes they let us in, because they didn't want us to disturb him or carry any kind of, you know, any kind of bacteria or anything towards him. So they kept him away.
Okay, so most of the
Yeah,
time he was alone in
yeah,
the hospital or wherever he was at.
yes.
So,
Yeah. Oh, but you know, I mean, I made my peace with him after he died, because I actually sat down and prayed and cried a little, and I just told him, I visualized him, and I felt his presence. Actually, I did feel his presence all over me, and he, you know, and I felt he accepted it, and I felt that he said it, there was absolutely no need for that, because I was, I mean, a very challenging son. I used to like to put my point across and argue with him, and eventually he didn't speak to me, and then he got back speaking to me. You know, all these things that happened with his most teenage. Then after that, I left for England, and I came to live in UK, and I was there for many, many years. I left in 75 and he died in 2000. I won in 1996.
mhm.
Yeah, so all that time I was away, and every time I got home, we never got around to talking, you know, properly. So that the thing is that I managed to. I believe they're around us. In fact, in our culture, they believe that the spirit is with us for 30 days.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, which I think you're going to ask me about the rituals afterwards, which I'll explain
Yes.
that.
Now
Uh,
for Kemet, African traditions to ancient esoteric
uh,
traditions too, it talks about the Lord Narayana who comes and takes you. And we have Anubis and Osiris um, that does the same
yeah,
principle. They come and they assist you um, to your new abode when you
yeah,
pass it's your spiritual law. That is wonderful for viewers, for people to know that
yes,
their loved ones are not alone.
that's right.
This is just flesh and blood. I know a lot of people um, fear death, and a lot of people um, say that, or rather after one is dead there, they have this hopeless feeling, wish they were here. But if they could
Mm,
just connect like you did,
mm,
know out there, viewers, that if your loved one has passed away, you can still communicate with them.
mm,
Like you did, Nick, you were able to still make your peace with your father.
yes,
And how do you feel now?
really,
What is your perception then before
it's,
you were able to make your peace,
yeah,
before he passed, and after he passed is when you made your peace?
mm,
So how did you feel before he passed? What death was like for you? What your perception? And what is your perception of death now
yeah,
after you
I,
made your peace? What is the
yeah,
difference that you feel there?
yeah. I mean, my own belief about death is basically what my father used to share with me about death, that not to worry about it. When it happens, it happens, and you don't really die. you just move on. You just move on to another state, and that's his way of saying. So he said when you see people, gurus who sit down and meditate for 50 years and 100 years, and then they just die, and their soul just leaves from the top out, and don't feel that they're gone, because they have just become everything, they have just become everything, and they're everywhere. And so he.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, and so my perception, I mean, I never feared that. I really don't fear that at all. But for me, it's the getting ready for that, for the people you leave behind, that I want to make sure that my wife is comfortable, my children are well, everything is in order before I leave. I might not have that, I may not be, but so we've started doing things now, just in case, at least we're 50%.
How many other siblings do you have?
I have with me 8 of us. There's 8 of us in the family.
So how did they all proceed it the same way you did?
No, actually, we've all got different kind of beliefs. I suppose there is a certain amount of acceptance of death being part and parcel of life itself throughout the whole family. Nobody's actually scared of death, but I think they're probably scared of the unknown more than anything else. But I know
that's what many people consider that.
Yes.
Death too, the unknown, because they don't know it, because they fear. I too have never been afraid of death from I was very young, all my life. As a matter of fact, I have wanted to leave so many times. that place, that blissfulness, I feel it. I have wanted to leave many times, but the spirit would not allow me to. And I too, when I was very young, saw one of my dear grandparents pass off. I was the only one with her at the time, and I saw when he left her. So I saw when the spirit left, I saw it rose, and I saw it just leave too, like a windowsill, and that was I have never forgotten that. I don't know why I'm not afraid of death, but I've never ever been afraid of death.
Yeah.
And when your mom passed about 60 years after your dad passed.
Yeah, 2004 she passed away. So about 18 years.
So her experience was a little bit different.
Yeah, because with my dad, he came.
As a result of negligence by a cardiologist.
Yeah, it wasn't sudden death. She lived for a year after that. It was a private hospital, and he was so bent on having that operation, and like more money kind of thing. And I had words with him afterwards. I did have words with him.
Your dad had that when?
Sorry?
Your dad passed off from an operation that went?
No. My father just and finally his cause of death was myocardial infarction, which is like a heart attack. I suppose it is a heart attack.
Okay.
Yeah. And so with my mom it was different. She was ill for a year. In fact, my mom actually died in my arms, and I resuscitated her, and she came back to life. And so she had a year with us. So we were expecting her to go off anytime. It was like, we don't know when she's going to go, but we were all ready for her. And but she stayed on for a year. And in that 1 year, I was learning about the mind and the mastery at that time. I was nearly completing that. And a long time ago, our Asian parents, when you try and share something with your parents, they'll say, "Oh, children these days think they're too clever, they're teaching me." You know what I mean? That kind of thought. But in that 1 year that she had left, I used to come home and just tell her little things that I learned from my master. And she used to say, "Son, come every day and teach me, son." The woman, she actually changed completely. Lying in bed, I see she giving up her things one by one. She was just letting go of everything, and she became, I was so proud of her because she was always the kind of person who fought for us, fought for her things and our things, and she kept on that. But before she died, it was so amazing to see her let go of everything. And I think it was the greatest thing she did for herself. And, just letting go.
I can
And
really feel that. I can really feel
yes,
that experience.
yes,
Oneself out from this physical realm, from all these tangible things that we only come here to experience. Yes, once we're here, we need to connect with the physical and experience it. That's why we came. But we cannot take it with us. All we take with us
absolutely.
memory.
Yeah.
The memory.
She just said she used to be in a part-time, she used to sell all these collector plates and all these things, like a very expensive chinaware and all that. And she just said, you just take the plates, and those whoever want to take what, just take it, and the rest just give it away. I'm not bothered about them anymore. And all this, those were her prized things. She looked after them, very protective, but she just let go. And it was amazing to see that, especially because we all came from very humble beginnings, very hard. And my mom used to be a midwife, and she basically cycled miles and miles to deliver babies and all that. So, and she worked, she had 2-3 jobs just to make sure that we were all right. And so was my dad the same way. So to see her let go of everything, it was something very important for me. That idea of, what the hell, where am I going to take it? I'm not going to bring a caravan with me, if I'm going to say it.
Yeah. It's not too much stuff. Anyway, that's we're not using.
Yes.
Now I want to point this out. He said she was actually dead for a few minutes, and he resuscitated her. So we brought her back. I resuscitated her, and she came back to the land of the living. Her immediate words were, "I just need some sleep, and I should be okay. I had the most beautiful sleep ever a moment ago, and you woke me."
Yeah. I suffered with that for 1 whole year because my mom went through 18 operations, I believe, about 18 or 16 or 18 operations in that time.
You woke her.
Yeah, and because she was sick, they had suspected this and suspected that, and they used to cut her open every single time. And I used to sit with my mom in the hospital and just look at her, think, what have I done? She was just going, and I should just have let her go and join my dad. And I felt really, really bad for that. But however, I feel that I'll tell you something a bit later.
What have we done? What was she saying? Is there really life after death? Why are we made to suffer the way that we do? From a young woman, I myself have always been in this meditative space, and I understand this peace of wanting to return until I realized that this life is suffering. I realized that the reason why I want to return is because I didn't want to suffer. And how that came about was, I remember one day now, I was in my middle to late 20s, and I was being called to the mission field. I went through Thurston as a evangelist, missionary, pastor, preacher, teacher, oracle, prophet. And I recall the Spirit was calling me to go south, to leave my country, everyone, everything. I didn't have any problem with that because I started my spiritual journey at the age of 12, and I'm one that just, yes, what Spirit speaks. However, when I was very young, I always wanted to go home. I felt this is not my home. I felt that thing in me. This is not my home. And I would say that a whole lot. I recall I would ask people when they tell me somebody died. As a Christian at the time, evangelizing and so forth, is you wanting to save souls. I've I've moved on from all of that to a greater understanding.
Mhm.
However, when someone died, I would ask, were they saved? Were they Christian? If someone told me yes, I said, okay, fine, then they're with God. And if they say no, I said, well, first of all, the parable, the story with the Christ on the cross and the two thieves beside him,
Mm.
that we don't know which one that person was. So their soul, I always know that the soul can still communicate. The body dies, there's still opportunity there.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like, okay, what can I do? We can't do anything at this point,
Mhm.
but pray. However, I recall saying to a friend, I it was one of those situations, and I always go back to like, God, why did you take that person? Didn't take me. Did you love that person more than me? I want to be with you. I don't want to be. I want to be with you, right? I felt my love for spirit, my love for the divine things, divine energy. My love for spirit was so, so strong. I just wanted to be in that space because I was always meditating unconsciously. I would know when people come and say, Marlene, hey, 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 come back. Where are you? So it was one of those times where I was expressing now out loud to my friend, um, about why God taking all these people and leaving me here. And he said something in his Jamaican twang, patois. I will say it the way he said it. Go away from here because you don't want to stay here and suffer with the rest of us. Well, all he was saying is that my reason for wanting to leave is because I didn't want to suffer and go through the pain. And in that moment, something, it's like my energy went deep within. I thought, I'm like, yeah, this world is full of suffering. That's it. I never put it all together before that, you know. And from that moment, though, I turned things around. I said, no, my soul family's here. People are here. I'm going to go through this step. At that time, I thought, if Christ suffered, I'm going to suffer too. Now, I no longer believe in 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 all of that to that extent, but my life took a turn. I embraced life even more and was willing to go through all I came here to go through. So I really appreciate this moment here in this. So, and I can feel what you may have felt after you resuscitated her and realized that she was fine. Yes, there's life after death. And it was a blissful, you know, more wonderful place, peace. Because you said now she had 18 operations that she had to endure after that. I know I would be thinking, oh my God, I should have left her alone. Now I'm causing this suffering. How did you handle all of this?
Yeah, I mean, it was painful after she died. Actually, I just felt rotten. I felt why did I have to do that? But in that 12 months, I can see where my mom, really grew. Because all her life it was just her children. She didn't have any time for herself. And she was such a selfless woman. She just gave us and gave us and gave us. And we just took and took and took. As children, we grew up. We still kept taking in terms of she'd make food for us. She'll get up and do this. And we could have done it quite easily. And she would still do it. And she would be happy to do it. But we could just say, Mom, you sit down. She was just giving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so it was constant taking and very little giving. But in that 12 months, I felt a little bit better because I didn't manage to give some back in terms of giving her, passing on the knowledge that I'd learned, and sharing it with her for her to take whatever she wanted to take from it. And she began to appreciate the whole idea of spirituality in the form that I had learned it, because Yeah, mine was more like a more spiritual kind of thing. I was not very much for the
But
ritualistic.
it was this time during this 1 year where she was now saying to you, come and teach me what you're learning.
Yeah.
So
In that 1 year.
it was meant for you to resuscitate her, because I believe
Yeah.
this time that helped her. It was during this time also that she was letting go of all her belongings.
Mhm. Yeah. You see what? That's when you start to understand what purpose of life means. For whatever reason, I was there with my mom and resuscitated her. And then on, I was there with her every day. My wife, she was looking after her, taking her, just keeping her company a lot of times. But as far as I was concerned, I managed to do things for her, like in terms of, she was lying down and I was just talking to her and telling her, Mom, this is what I learned. This is what I learned. And she said, thank you, son. That was very good. I really understand that. And, and I could feel that her conversations daily became lighter and lighter. She became more chilled as a person. She was not so angry anymore. It was lovely. It's very nice. She was giving me the joy. I was not doing anything for her in terms of this payback or whatever. She was giving me back again. Through seeing that change in her, she was giving me back again. So, parents never stop giving, I guess. Yeah. But it was
Mother's love.
it was a wonderful experience and to understand that, and also to have spent time with her that in the last year of her life. I lived in England and I went back to work in England, but because I'd gone back to work, I managed to have time with her, with both my dad and her. And it's, trust me, it's worth $1 million. Okay, there's no price you can put on it. Because when they're gone, these are the only things you can look back and that is almost tangible to you, the time you spent with them.
Well, Nick, I want to thank you very much for coming and sharing. Our next interview, we will talk more about the burial rituals.
All right.
Cultural rituals. We'll go more into that's the Hindu rituals, and we'll tap in some of the burial practices of other cultures as well.
All right. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's been much, much better by then.
Yes.
Love and light.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Take care. God bless you.
God bless you. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for coming to my channel. Please give a thumbs up if you like this video. Please click the bell to get notified for when the next video is posted. And please subscribe. Thank you very much.